So I wanted to share with you a practice called focus attention. And in this practice, it's really an invitation and opportunity to start exploring what it means to cultivate some mindfulness in us around an anchor. There's no pressure to perfectly focus. So if you are someone who has challenge with focus, please don't be nervous. There'll be options for you to play with this. And really what we want to start building is just looking at our thinking, to explore our own minds. And focus attention has been shown in the literature to help increase our stability, calm, and focus. And that doesn't mean that happens instantaneously every time or even the first time. But the hopeful thing is that there's a really interesting evidence base saying that if you try this practice out, just like exercising at the gym, that you have this potential to build greater capacity for senses of stability, of well-being, of clarity and focus. So that's the muscle groups that we're targeting in this practice. So to do this practice, I'll invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can pick a point in front of you to focus on. At any point during this practice, if you want to open your eyes, lift your gaze, or if you feel like you need to disengage from the guidance to take care of yourself, please self-direct and self-regulate. But as your mindfulness coach, I will encourage you to follow the guidance as often as possible. For our focused attention practice today, we're going to set an intention to anchor our attention. And throughout this practice, the cycle that we're going to be in is to anchor our attention, then for our mind to become distracted, that's very natural, to notice the distraction, and then as often as possible to re-anchor our attention. And I'd like to invite you to select your own anchor of attention. We often use the breath because it is free and available to us. So I'm going to guide this practice using the anchor of the breath, but if you prefer to use an anchor such as a neutral sound or the sensation of where you're sitting, or perhaps your hands in your lap, you can go ahead and select any of these as an anchor. And sometimes a metaphor we like to use for focused attention is that we can imagine our mind is like a snow globe. We are constantly shaking the snow globe with all of our projects and worries and fears. And in focused attention, by anchoring attention, we attempt to stop shaking the snow globe for a few moments. And this can allow our minds to settle and then allow us to see more clearly what is here. And perhaps what you will find is here is some calm and stability, or perhaps you have a very busy week and there is actually stress and anxiety here. And in this practice of mindfulness, we are not trying to force or fix any of this to change. We are just offering some awareness to what is here for us as gently and kindly as possible. And so I'll invite you now to direct your attention to your selected anchor. If this is your breath, you might notice your breath coming into your body, perhaps at the level of your nose, the back of your throat, your chest, all the way down into your belly. Breathing out, become aware of your entire out-breath. If it helps to anchor your attention, you might like to think the word in as you breathe in, and the word out as you breathe out. Just remembering that our intention is to anchor our attention, knowing that it is natural that the mind will wander. When the mind wanders, We notice it has wandered. That is a successful moment of mindful awareness. And then when we can, we redirect attention back to the anchor. And so I'll give us a few moments of quiet now to just do this cycle, this workout. Anchoring, wandering, noticing, re-anchoring. And as often as possible, seeing if we can stay with our anchor. And then on your next out-breath, I'll invite you to gently open your eyes or lift your gaze. And I'll invite you to take a moment maybe to collect a little data on yourself. Mindfulness is a little experiment where we get to maybe notice some things we didn't know before. And so you might take a moment to consider, is my body or my mind more calm and relaxed? Are my body and mind more tight and anxious? And on any given day, we can be on any end of this spectrum. And again, this is just really an invitation to bring some awareness there. And we know from a scientific perspective that self-awareness, awareness of whether I'm feeling calm and at ease or tight and anxious, can then inform what I might do next. Do I need a moment to go for a walk? Or if I'm going into a meeting or into giving a presentation and I am more anxious, I can be really kind to myself. My prefrontal cortex may be offline a little. I may need to feel a little calm, or I may have a little trouble, recounting what I need for my exam. And so this awareness, these little micro check-ins we can do with ourselves, we just did a very short practice, can be something that helps inform how we proceed in our day. So I congratulate you on a successful practice, whatever happened, because if we became aware of our mind, then that in of itself is an act of mindfulness.